What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about a really great side gig that you can turn into a legitimate career, and in some cases you can get started with this for just a couple of $100s. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to get started, exactly what this side gig entails, and how you could potentially turn it into a career path. So let's get started. This right here is a DJI Mavic Mini. And I purchased this little drone a couple of weeks ago for about $350 refurbished from DJI.
Updated. Please check it on the map.
Let's try this on the ground, away from the expensive Rode microphone. This is my drone, and my original plan was to fly this outside, but because of the fact that it's super windy outside, I decided to instead fly it in the studio. Because what could go wrong? But in all seriousness, this really is my Mavic Mini drone that I just purchased from DJI. I got this refurbished for about $350. That included shipping. I also purchased a replacement plan in the case that I destroy this drone. And really, honestly, the reason why I purchased it was for this YouTube channel. I really want to up the content that this channel offers, and I thought that a drone would be a cool tool in order to do that. If you guys couldn't tell from the clip a few moments ago, I am terrified of this thing, and I definitely am not comfortable flying it yet, but practice makes perfect. But the real point of this video wasn't to show off my flight skills in my studio. It was instead to talk about ways that you can make money with a drone exactly like this in your free time, because the opportunities are quite honestly limitless. Now, if you look at the side of this drone, right where my finger is, you'll see that it says 249 grams. Now, this is significant for a couple of different reasons, but most notably because of the fact that this drone is so small, you do not have to have it adhere to typical drone and FAA standards. Now, I don't really understand all of the nuances of that, but basically what this means is that this drone, because of its compact size, is not treated like a commercial aircraft. And because of that, you don't have to follow all of the same restrictions of a larger sized drone, even if you're not using it for commercial use. Not only the extreme lightweight, but the drone is also extremely compact. If we start folding in the drone like I'm doing here, it is about the size of your palm, which means you can fit it into a backpack, pocket, really anything. Now, I got this drone for this YouTube channel because I wanted to up my content, and I wanted to figure out a way to make some entertaining videos outside of the videos I make in this studio. And I thought that a drone would help me do that. But whenever I bought the drone, it got my brain flowing on different ways that you can make money off of a drone exactly like this. Now, when it comes to a drone, even one like a very basic entry-level one like the Mavic Mini that I have, there are actually a lot of different side gigs that you can implement with that drone. And that's what I want to talk about today. You see, drones hold a very useful function, and they're a very niche piece of equipment. I got a drone because I have a YouTube channel, and because of my YouTube channel, I can justify spending a couple of $100s on a piece of equipment I may only use every once in a while. But there are a lot of people out there that could have a use for a drone, but they simply wouldn't use it enough to justify the cost, even one that's an entry-level $350 one like the Mavic Mini. And because of that, there is a real need for drone and drone operators to come out and do one-time gigs. With that, the very first side hustle that you can start with a drone, like the one I've just shown you, is roofing inspections. You see, this is something I actually didn't even know was a thing, but apparently it's becoming more and more popular. Roof inspections are an integral part of buying and maintaining a home, and a really great and very safe way to go about doing this is by doing the inspection via drone, rather than climbing up on a ladder and going up on top of a roof. Now, for smaller homes, this may not be an issue, but for larger two-story homes, this is definitely an issue, and that's where a drone could come in handy. It's becoming more and more common for roofers to hire out drone operators to come out to a house and inspect the roof with the drone camera. That way they can go and they can see what damage has been done, they can see what needs to be replaced, and they can give a price quote without ever stepping foot on the roof. This is a really cool side hustle for any type of drone operator, even basic ones like the Mavic Mini, because of the fact that with roofs, you don't have to fly extremely far or extremely high in order to get a really detailed picture. All you have to do is fly above the house, inspect the roof, land it, and then you're good to go. This means that this type of side hustle is very easy to get started, even with your most basic entry-level drone like the Mavic Mini. If you are interested in doing this side hustle, then you can contact roofers or contractors, propose the idea of being their drone operator, which would not only save their company and their contractors time, but it would also make everything more streamlined and more efficient. You could charge between $20, $50, maybe even sometimes $100 for your inspection. You could give them the footage, then they could build out the quote for that. This is a win-win situation for everybody involved. It's safer and more efficient for the contractors and roofers, and it's a great side gig for you to take part in. And it's a really great entry-level side gig that anybody with any type of drone can do. Number 2 is real estate. Nowadays, with your typical smartphone, you can take great pictures. That the need for professional real estate photographers is coming smaller and smaller. But the fact is, drone and aerial shots is still something that the typical person can't do with their average smartphone. And that's where drones can come in. There is a real need for aerial footage, whether it's for agricultural land, whether it's for commercial real estate or residential real estate. There is a need and a place where aerial footage will come in handy. And the fact is, Google Maps just sometimes doesn't cut it. That's where drone operators can come into play. Drone operators can fly their land on top of different residential properties as well as commercial real estate or land, and they can get aerial footage as well as aerial photos of the different types of things that need to be captured, and you can get paid doing it. Whether a real estate agent or a broker needs residential, commercial, or agricultural real estate captured, they can hire a drone operator to take great photos and capture great footage for their listing. Whether it be to create the listing in an MLS or to promote it on a brochure or to make a Facebook advertisement with it. Whatever the case is, there is a real need for this type of footage, and it's something that is very difficult for the average real estate agent or broker to get. Depending on the location, the type of footage, and the size of the location will dictate how much money you could make with this type of side gig. But the fact is, there is a real need for real estate drone footage, and whether you are a seasoned expert or a brand new drone operator, you could definitely get some clients through this type of side gig. And a third side hustle that you can explore with a drone is wedding and event photography and videography. Now, a drone may not be the perfect type of vehicle to take photos with at a traditional wedding because of the noise and because of the kind of scene that the drone creates. But the fact is, aerial shots of a wedding or an event are things that can be valuable to the host. And depending on what they're wanting from their event or from their wedding, a drone could come in handy. And whenever it comes to operating a drone, typically the photographer can't do it because of the fact that they're taking the photos. And you can't operate a drone and take photos at the same time. That's where you can come in. You can capture an event or a wedding from above with your drone, and you can do so very easily with relatively little experience. Now, this is something where you most likely would have to create relationships with wedding and event photographers, but the fact is there are people that want this type of footage out there, and if you're a traditional photographer, you may not have the means to accomplish this, and that's where you can come in. Now, when it comes to creating side gigs with drones, there are so many different ways that you can pursue this. You can pursue one of the 3 that I've just spoken about here, like roofing inspections, wedding and event photography and videography, as well as real estate videography and photography, or you can go down a whole different path. You can start a YouTube channel with your drone. You can do disaster relief and evaluation with your drone. You can inspect agricultural property. For example, if there is agricultural property that is multiple dozens of acres, if not hundreds of acres, oftentimes people will use drones to inspect that property. In addition, there are hotels, businesses, and resorts that need drone footage for their marketing, whether it be for their website, for their Facebook, for their Instagram, whatever the case is, there is a need for that type of footage out there. And that's where drone operators can come in. Now, depending on what type of side gig you'd want to pursue would dictate what type of drone you would need and what experience level you would need. Chances are a big time resort isn't going to want you and your Mavic Mini to take their footage. They'll probably want a more seasoned expert with a higher quality drone. But there are a lot of local businesses and local events that could use a very basic drone like the one I've shown here, and that's where you can come in. There are really easy and really accessible ways to get started with a drone business at a very entry-level cost. And you could do so with a very basic $350 drone like the Mavic Mini. Now, when it comes to how much money you can make with a drone business, it really depends on your experience level. An entry-level drone operator can make anywhere between $20 and $30 per hour for a project, where an experienced expert-level drone operator can make anywhere between $100 and $200, sometimes even more per hour. So there is a lot of opportunity for growth here as you get better at capturing footage, flying your drone, and getting the best videos as possible. Now, I really like this type of side gig because of the fact that it's relatively easy to get started with, and it's also fun to get started with. Drones are a cool thing, and it's really cool that you can take something like this, capture video and photographs with it, and then potentially start a business with it at the same time. So it really is one of those side gigs that really does merge a hobby with some sort of business and revenue stream, which quite honestly is the perfect combination. Not only that, but you guys know me, and you guys know that I love side gigs that can turn into legitimate businesses. And a drone and videography business is definitely one that is scalable and you can turn into a legitimate company. You could buy higher-end drones, you can hire drone operators, you can build a reputation, and eventually this could turn into a six-figure business with enough time, practice, and patience. And I love that about this type of side gig. In fact, recently I spoke to a drone operator who owned a drone operating business. In fact, he had about a dozen different drones and had a handful of different operators that were on his payroll, and it was a multi-six-figure business for him. Now, with that being said, you guys, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because of the fact that I love exploring new ways to make money. And the fact is, I didn't really even know that this type of side gig existed until I got my own drone and I started doing some research. And I do think that this is one of those few side gigs out there that can be a hobby as well as a side gig. And depending on how you play your cards, you could absolutely turn this into a legitimate career and a legitimate company later on down the road. But like always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.